Hi, everyone. My name is Nancy, and my business is Your Essential. I am here to welcome you to winter in our week where we talk about solutions for the heart. I'm going to focus on that word love. And as simple as that word love is, I want to explore with you what could be the definition of love and where are the multiple, plentiful dimensions of your life where you can seek out love, where you can bolster love and nurture love, really have lived and loved that and learned that experience that um, love conquers all. And so I want to build that definition for you so that you understand what I'm thinking when I say that simple statement to you. Several years ago, something that you might know about me is that my background is in education. I've been a grade school teacher for almost 2 decades now. That means I've been in school since I was 5, and I've experienced a lot of people and a lot of students, a lot of colleagues, and I had a beautiful opportunity near the beginning of my career to recognize and attend to a need that we saw in our school population. I appreciate and think back with so much gratitude to the team of colleagues that I worked with who said yes. When I sat at a school improvement meeting and I said, if we can teach our children how to live in love and live in gratitude, and they will extend those skills of contribution and appreciation and teamwork that will complement their learning tremendously and that will build our school community. I called it the Community Development Program. And that program that I developed is my foundational understanding of love. And I am always grateful for, and I feel very blessed for our school community that I was given the support to share that. And it's coming back to me now as I think about teaching you about love. So I'll give you the premise and then I'll take you through it in great detail. When I do that, I'm going to bring in some oils. You might see these in the background with me. I have brought a few of the tools that I depend on when I am listening to that intuitive voice that I have and taking in some of those messages around my loving connection with myself and with others and the life that I'm living. I've brought the Rose Skin Lotion, hand and body lotion. I've brought lemongrass, our Forgive blend, and frankincense. And all of those are going to fit into our discussion of love today. I'm going to take a short moment to address something that is on my mind around this particular video. Thanks so much for watching, by the way. When we learn together, there's a deeper dimension to what we're doing, and that learning in community is a gift that you've given yourself. It's not our only space for learning. It's not an all the time space, because we do need to do that personal reflection. We need to bring it into our own habits. We need to have our experience that grounds our acquisition of new skills and new information so that it becomes an application in our own life. But when we share together, there is something tremendous about that matrix that we build with each other, where you're going to share your perspective, someone else is going to hear that from their angle, and you really never know how you're impacting someone else's life. So thank you for being a part of that. And thank you for the opportunity for me to share this concept. You might have noticed this is the second run of creating this video, and there's been funky technical stuff going on, and that hasn't escaped my thinking. And what I've come to in reflection is that when we talk about love, when we talk about our heart, we are getting deeper into our whole being. We've addressed our solutions for the body. We've addressed our solutions for the mind. And those are fairly typical, fairly comfortable zones of thinking and talking, conversing in our communities, depending, I guess, on the social group that you interact with. I think love is one of those ones when it gets in deeper that maybe we aren't as familiar with. Recognizing that where we're at is where we're supposed to be, that vulnerability isn't a danger, it's an opportunity to recognize our space for growth, that one person's definition of love doesn't mean that my definition can't be recognized, or that I can't communicate that well. And I think the technical difficulties have brought that to my mind. That particular piece around my definition of love often frames my experiences. And as you develop your definition of love, or you reflect on it, you probably have one, you'll discover that through the video maybe. And learn, one of my learning pieces that has just thrilled me over the last year has been changing that perspective. And my mom said it well. She said, from being a human being, being a human being to a human doing. Shoot, I've got it mixed up in my head. But the perspective that I'm aiming for is that I often was in living experiences in a doing space, where I was doing all of the emotions and all the experiences, all the absorbing and processing and acting on my experiences. And the gift that I've given myself is I have learned to come out to the side and observe what is going on and the experiences I'm living through. And try that. Try giving yourself that observational standpoint. Sit yourself in the bleachers, and you're up on the lifeguard chair, and have a look down and see, what is that situation that you're in, that you're learning from, that you're living, and then maybe loving, but maybe it's challenging for you, and you're looking for another way to see it. And I found that observational standpoint helps a lot, especially when it's love, because love can, that hard experience can make us or break us. There's a lot of, if you start thinking about it, there's a lot of those colloquial phrases that go around our experience of love. And my technical difficulties with videos have brought me to that observation, that sometimes it's a tough conversation to have, and a way to clear that space for a fruitful conversation or fruitful reflection for yourself is to come out from the feeling space to the observational space, and so that you can see the intricacies of it a little bit more clearly. I think that's my intuition. I think that's the piece that I want to share with you for sure. Let's get into the oils. Let's get into love, and think about solutions for our heart. So I have a diagram I'm going to share with you that helps me to see the definition of love. I'm going to share my screen at this point, and so I'll just flip that over momentarily. Oh, and I'm not seeing it available. So let me see how this works. I apologize. It would be just a moment, and I will get you to seeing this diagram that I have for love. Is a heart, and I call it a heart that has radians. And those radians start small in the middle, and that's where our body love is, and get gradually grow larger and larger. Here we go. I'll bring you to it. This is my diagram that I'm thinking about. And it is where I call these hearts growing radians. And I see that as a definition of love, because we start in our most tangible space, so in our body. And we think about, and in my community development course, I started my students from kindergarten to grade 6 learning about their body, because this is where you live every day, every moment, every year and decade as we grow and live and learn. And when you learn your body, you learn what are its strengths, what are its challenges, what do you want to do to nurture yourself, what are you susceptible to, how does your body respond, all of those great awarenesses that then you can act on to invest in self-love and experience that affirmation that you are loved by you. You are the expression of the universal love that flows through us and lives all around us and surrounds us. When you say, yeah, my body is worth taking care of, my body is worth nurturing for vibrancy, that's an affirmation that you also live with. And so your self-love becomes that beautiful, beautiful, strong core that has vibrant love in it. I extend that out next. So our body love, at the center of the definition of love, is our body and ourselves. And then it extends out to those people that we will bring into our physical space. So think of the people you would hug. So your children, your partners, your family members, your friends who are close enough to you that, you know, every time you meet, you have a big hug, and there's certainly one before you go. Think of those people within your radiant of your body, because there's a physical contact there, and you nourish each other with a physical experience. When we talk about the aroma touch technique, that's a big piece of massage, particularly our massage with oils, is that physical contact is tangibly beneficial to our whole being. And you see that in the diagram. That heart, that physical love, is at the core. Do you recognize that? And I think that's significant. It's easy for us to neglect our body, or to abuse, make decisions that are not beneficial for our body, to speak poorly of our body, or to let other people do that. And I think I could probably make a whole video about that. So I won't go further on that. Know that your physical love for your body is at the core of your well-being. The next stage out are two together. So the mind and the heart are the next two stages out together. And in my course, my community development course, I took my students from knowing their physical body to then looking out to the people they're in contact with, their community. And so children are in contact with their parents, with their teachers, with friends, with the family of friends, with organizers of different activities that are involving coaches and leaders in different groups and things like that. And you have those same kind of reach. Everyone from the person that you buy your groceries from, to your yoga instructors, and your social network, and those people that you connect with and that are a resource for you. So that second layer, the mind and the heart, are your space of resource. And how do you connect, and how do you source out love in those spaces? And when I was thinking around that and mirroring it right into the definition of love, I was thinking about what invigorates you. So when you're in your resource space, what is really useful to you? Do you make your decisions when you connect it to resources? And I'm speaking of people, I'm speaking of places, I'm speaking of your favorite grocer, or your favorite coffee shop, or those places that you feel love. This is that broadening definition of love. It's not a romantic piece. There isn't maybe a tangible reaction that someone says, oh, you're our favorite person who comes by the shop. Here's your special chair, and I'll make your drink right away. Maybe that happens. It'd be kind of nice. But it's not that tangible. It's when you walk into a space, when you buy from a store, when you borrow from a library, when you walk down a street in your community, you feel loved, you feel safe, you feel like you're familiar with the space, and so you can easily problem solve. You feel like there are people there that are going to give you positive reinforcement with simple as a smile or a short conversation. How do you use that to decisively schedule in love for yourself? Do you make a habit of going to the library once a week, or twice a month or something, on some kind of schedule? Do you give yourself a habitual visit to the coffee shop, or do you look forward to your grocery shopping? I'm using some examples from my life. It's something I love to do, is the grocery shopping. And know that, affirm for yourself that when you make those decisions to be in those spaces where you feel that safety, that utility, that resourcefulness, that positive reinforcement, you are living another definition of love. Do you remember in high school, I don't know if you took the same course that I did, but I remember the course that they taught us about the different types of love. And there certainly was romantic love, and they're teaching teenagers, so they're going to acknowledge that. So there's certainly romantic love. Was that called Eros, maybe? If anyone knows this better, certainly comment in the video to clear up my probably 30 years now learned definition. So romantic love, certainly, but then also love of friends. And I think that was philia, where it's your friends for your love for your siblings, your love for your friends, the people that you're close to, that's a particular kind of lover category. And then you get that love that is, oh gosh, I've lost my definitions. But there were four definitions of love, and bring that into your consciousness. That when you plan these spaces for yourself, when you make habits, decisively make habits to be in a space where you feel good, you are bringing more love into your life. And that can be nourishing. And that demonstrates for others that you do things on purpose to live that vibrancy that can go through us, that can flow through us and flow all around us. And knowing that when love flows through you, your light shines brighter for those around you, and they will recognize that. They'll be drawn to that love vibrancy that you're living in, and inspired to do the same thing for you. You really do improve your circumstances when you are sharing that with each other. Now, just remember that I want to bring the oils in here, and I'm going to go back to our body love. I did want to tell you that this rose oil, the rose hand and body lotion that I have with me, is a tool that I used when I was starting to consciously bring some of these habits into my life. And this rose oil was something that I used on my body when I started having those monkey mind moments and those opportunities where I wanted to build a more positive pathway in my thinking. And I just needed that reminder that I am loved. And I used it right on my body. It was right in that center of loving my body, using my body as the base of my experience for love. And so with this this lotion, I would just take a wee little bit and I would rub it between my hands and take a good cup inhale. The vibrancy of the rose oil is the highest of all of our oils in a measured way. There's tangible measurements that this rose oil is tremendously powerful. And it really doesn't take very much. So I've been able to cup inhale that oil, that lotion, and then every time I rub it right onto my forearms and just give myself a little bit of a massage and take in that love and that reminder that my body is where it starts, that when I love my body, when I remember what is great about my body, when I am tender and nurturing to my body, I am setting the foundation for opening up to more love in my life. So I want to share that one with you. If you haven't tried the rose lotion yet, I do recommend it as a tool to bring into your toolkit if love is something that you want to work on. When you bring the rose oil into your collection, you are also supporting the Healing Hands Foundation. And that Healing Hands Foundation is the charitable works of doTERRA. And the extension of their support for people in need is tremendous. I won't go into the full description of what it is, but do look them up on our doTERRA.com website, and you'll see an extensive list of all of the organizations, particularly supporting the well-being of women and children in our various outreaches across the globe. Do look into that. When you buy the rose lotion, you are supporting the Healing Hands Foundation through doTERRA. So have a look for that. The oil that I wanted to share with you for the mind and body space was lemongrass. I don't know if lemongrass is in your collection yet. Oh, it's fresh. It's smooth at the same time. Something that I am really attracted to about lemongrass is its smoothness. There's a body there that I've used lemongrass in my cooking. I use it in my diffuser, and I also use it topically. When I looked lemongrass up in my Essential Life book, I found that the keywords to describe the impact of lemongrass is that it's electrifying, it is regenerating, and it's purifying. And I remember someone's presentation at a doTERRA event I attended, and she was talking about lemongrass having been the key oil that changed her life and changed her understanding of well-being and self-care. And she had used lemongrass for a skin irritation that she had that was tremendous. She'd experienced it for long enough. She'd been through many different applications of care. And when she started using lemongrass, it did exactly what it said. It purified her skin. So it cleaned the gunk out and it helped with regeneration. And when we get to that mind and heart place where we're thinking about and connecting with those things that ignite us and those resources that we know we can depend on, sometimes we have to clean out and we have to start making our decisions, our choices deliberately based on love. I'm going to choose those resources. I'm going to choose to always go to that grocery store because it serves me best. I'm going to choose to make a habit of going to the library because it serves me, it nurtures me. And the lemongrass can be that detoxifying and help us to let go of some of the things we hang on to because maybe we're supposed to, or maybe someone else did and it looked like it worked for them, or some of those habits that we develop often around our observations of what other people are doing. And know that you never know someone else's story. You don't know why that one works for them. And in the same tune, you don't have to explain to anyone why that brand of orange juice works for you. But when you choose through your mind and your heart and your experience of those your love experience through your mind and your heart, you are serving yourself with love, and you are helping yourself to regenerate that definition for yourself so that you see love in so many more moments in your day, because that's what's going to nourish you to bolster and grow. I'm going to take you also to the forgive blend for the same reason. And I have another diagram to show you for that. So here's the forgive blend. And the forgive blend comes from this chart, and it comes from the forgive blend is the intersection between the herbs and grasses source and the trees source. And the forgive blend, that means that the forgive blend gives you a detoxifying experience and a grounding and centering experience. When I first used this forgive blend, honestly, the voice in my head said, well, I don't have to forgive anybody. Like, they haven't done anything really bad to me. Honestly, that was my experience. It was an outer expression of forgiveness. And as I continue to use this oil, I've realized it's so much more global than that. That the forgive blend is, I've made a note about it, so I just want to read it. It's more than an outward intention that with community, that our forgive blend is acknowledging that we are doing, it becomes an internal piece, that we are doing what we are meant to be doing right now. And forgiving ourselves of all the other expectations that we put on ourselves, all the shoulds, all the, well, should is a big word. I've tried hard to move that out of my vocabulary. I've tried to substitute the word could. And that's been a big forgive piece for me in my practice. Forgive is a great piece to use when you're opening up, you're detoxifying your learned definitions of love and regenerating what you can understand and what you can see as love in your experience. Take you back to the radiance because we're heading out to the spirit. And that's the greatest radiant. That's the largest piece. And keep this picture in your mind. I'm going to bring you back to just my background here and talk about that development of your spirit, because like you saw in the diagram, our spirit is what radiates out from us. It's actually where people get their first impression of us. It's that energy that surrounds us, and that expression of us, of our being, our whole being, from our body, our mind, and our heart, that expression of our spirit is undeniable. It's something that we don't design, we don't do intentionally, we don't control. It's what leads us to walk in learning, in living, and loving. And when you start to understand your spirit, you start to hear your intuitive communication with your spirit, that's when you get this tremendous clarity around love. In my notes, I've written that what in the world does your soul reach out to? When you start, it's almost like I've got this picture in my mind of I was a horseback rider as growing up, and I've been on some pretty wild horses, and it's almost like being up in the saddle and just hanging onto that horn for dear life. It's sort of like living that life. But when you reach for the reins, you start talking to that horse. Come on, baby, slow down. Let me get a handle on this. That's sort of the experience when you start to reach out to your soul and your spirit level for your acknowledgement, your understanding of your personal definition of love and your access to love. And it's wondering. That question that's worked for me is, what does my soul reach out for? When I taught the community development course, that third layer was thinking about the global opportunity and what in the world is available for us, and anything's available for us. Our decisions lead us to the path of what we bring in, what we access in our life. So when you think about your spirit, what is your spirit reaching out for in the world? What does your spirit love? What are you fueled by? What nourishes you? What ignites that? It's a different purity of inspiration and motivation. And when you can start tapping into that love, whoa, baby, it's a ride. It really is. It's remarkable. When you start to realize the infinite fuel that is out there for you as you get closer and closer to seeing your inspiration, your point of ignition, that love, when you bring that love into your definition of being satiated and feeling that experience, feeling that energy of the universe, you ignite a whole new layer. And that's that layer of you that interacts with the outside world, everything outside of your core body, your mind, your heart experience, your resourcing and navigation. And when you get it to that spirit, that's the real energy. And I brought frankincense for that radian. I brought frankincense because, can you see it without the light? There we go. You know frankincense. You know how grounding it can be, how centering, how remarkable the sourcing of this particular oil is, our king of oils. That this is our oil for stress management. And you've been hearing me speak very positively on. It's incredible the energy you can get when you connect with your spirit. And positive or negative, the word stress for me has I've dropped off the positive or negative judgment of stress in my life. That stress for me is when my energy is amplified. And when I connect with my spirit and I get into that groove, you might have seen it in some of my videos. Maybe if you've had a random conversation with me about self-care and integrating oils and plant tools into your life, you might have gotten a jolt of my energy. And that ignition, that huge amplification of energy, sometimes needs a little management, and that's what frankincense does for me. So frankincense, I'll use it as a drop. My favorite spot is a drop on the back of my spine, because that's the intersection between my mind, my brain function, and my neurosystem going down my spine and out to the ends of my body. So when I put a drop of frankincense on the back of my neck, I know I'm getting action of the frankincense, but it's also that moment where I stop and I realize my energy is really high. Is this where I want to stay? And if I do, how can I walk around a little in this energy so that this is a productive and profitable, effective and efficient experience for me? I had a really extraordinary conversation with a with my body talk practitioner, Lindsay Marie. So I'll connect you with her if it's something you're curious about. Lindsay and I were talking about, she was observing in me in my body talk session that for my energetic body, she told me about this triangle that she can visualize it, my triangle of energy. So where the peak comes up here, and then the base is somewhere around my hips or so. And she could see that triangle has movement, and that it was kind of cranking it out, kind of slow. And then there's another triangle that starts in my sacrum here, and goes up, and the top of that triangle is up over my crown chakra, where the energy lives, and it's really connecting with my higher energy, my spiritual space. And she said, "Oh, Nance, are you kind of excited?" I said, oh, Lindsay, I've been having these fantastic moments, and yes. She said, "I can see it. I can see that your lower triangle, your physical energy is your connection with the earth is kind of cranking it out and having a hard time rotating, but your spiritual energy is just whipping around. That energy was high, and that you're really excited. You've got a lot of joy." I said, like, my big grin on my face, big eyes, and absolutely. I said, "Yes, you're right on. That's exactly where I am." And we had some good conversation around that, and I went away from the experience, and I came back, and my reflection was that I think that high joy happens because I don't yet have faith that it can always be that great. That I'm not familiar with living in that beautiful alignment with what I'm here for. And that's something that I want to learn. So the frankincense helps me to be in that high thrill, that experience of extraordinary love, and to look around and do a little investigation and find out, how do I make this more of a habit without it being that spin, sort of irrational, feeling a little irrational, because my actions aren't always as effective and efficient when I'm up there. So using the frankincense helps me when I'm in that space. I'll take you back one more time to that diagram of the heart radians. And you can think this through just as a review, and we'll get to finishing up our video now. That we're talking about the definition of love and solutions for the heart, using listening for our intuitive voice in living love in our life, especially around this Valentine's time. And Cheryl said it very well around, it being a Hallmark holiday, that is a reflection of, in the winter, that this is the time we've been cocooning, we've been caring for ourselves and reflecting. Sometimes that exuberance really does nourish us and starts getting us ready for spring. It's on its way. And so look at this diagram and decide for yourself, what is love? Think about the core of your physical body and the people that you bring into your physical space, the mind and the heart. When you're living your life in your resource space, who do you connect with? Where do you choose to go? What makes you feel like you can navigate the world in that spiritual space? What is that love that's waiting for you, that's all around you, that is aching to flow through you? And know that all of that is for you. One of the affirmations that has been incredibly powerful for me is that I am loved. Period. End of sentence. I am loved. And that all that is in me is all that I need. When I love myself, I am so much better at loving others. When I love myself, these radians grow beautiful and strong and bright. I hope that your experience of love is nourishing and revealing and enlightening. I hope that this has been a solution for your heart during this winter season, that when you hear your intuitive voice speak to you, because we all have it, I hope that you acknowledge and give it a try. because your heart speaks. Take care.